Hello Internet, we are back on Showdown and we're going to do some more games with this wonderful Lipid Brilliant team. Now, as we find a game straight away. Unfortunately not a team quite as interesting as the ones that we played on Tuesday. Those were some interesting games. I mean, yeah, we got unlucky in the second game. You know, quite ironic I suppose that he hit a hypnosis out of gravity and then got the full blooming 3 turns as well on us. So, you know, there was that, but... you know, it's time for some revenge, I think. Unfortunately, this guy's team isn't quite as interesting, but hopefully it'll be a fun game nonetheless. Yeah, I think... I mean, normally I went with Lipid Thunderous, didn't I? But is Lipid actually necessary here? Because I could just go with Scizor. No, I'm going to go Lipid Thunderous. I'm going to go with Scizor and Kyogre in the back. Yeah, he actually leads with Cresselia. Yeah, I don't mind that. Yeah, I mean, it just goes to show, like, I'm enjoying using this team, and, yeah, okay, so on Battle Spot this week, we're using this maybe a bit more solid, Hitmontop team with, you know, Rayquaza, Kyogre, all the rest of it. Actually, yesterday and on Monday, it didn't go that well for us, did it? We only got 1 win, 1 loss. Maybe that sort of team isn't something that is so much my style, but, you know, this is, and it's fun as well, so... This is why I'm enjoying using this team a lot more than the team that I'm using on BattleSpot this week. So, I don't know, maybe this team isn't as solid, you know, but it's more fun, so it's better. That's my logic. So, Lipid Thunderous. I suppose the Cresselia is thinking, well, I'm going to Geomancy. If you Thunder Wave me, I'm just going to Trick Room. So, what do we do? So I think we put Scizor in and Swagger the Cresselia. I think that's definitely the play. No, he just Dazzling Gleams, okay. And he hits himself, that's good. So, do we Swords Dance here, or is his Xerneas threatened out? Good question. I think the Xerneas might be threatened out. I don't think the Xerneas really wants to stay in here. I don't think it would try Geomancying here either. So I'm going to try and Bug Bite the Cresselia and Thunder Wave the Cresselia as well. Because Paralysis and Confusion is a really nice combination. A Pokemon like Cresselia normally sits on the field for a long time as well. So if you can paralyze it at the beginning of the game, that's a lot of turns that you're giving yourself chances for full paralysis with. Actually, it is Groudon coming in. I did sort of think that could have been a potential, but... He doesn't Geomancy at least, but I didn't Swords Dance there because it means that I do have the option of switching, you know, without wasting a Swords Dance, switching the Scizor into Kyogre and going for a Hidden Power Water, which is a very cheeky move, which is exactly what I'm going to do. So we are slower, but I suppose if he's got Rock Slide and flinches us, then that could be a bit of a pain, but yeah, Precipice Blades, he misses. And Hidden Power Water knocks him out. So... there we go. I'm not complaining. That would have done about 60% to Kyogre, but the Groudon has gone now, so Kyogre in a way has already done its job. I have got Scizor in the back too, so I'm feeling okay here. I suppose it just depends on what his last Pokemon is. It'll be, well, it could be Smeargle, but you'd expect it to probably be one of his Mega Pokemon. So maybe this turn I want to just try and Scald the Xerneas. Maybe put it into Bullet Punch range from Scizor. And we'll just Swagger the Cresselia again. You can't go wrong with a Swag, can you? Nope, you definitely can't. So, there you go. I'm just going to do the same thing, but going to Thunder Wave the Cresselia. Thunderous. Thunderous. Just Thunderous. Helping Hand, Dazzling Gleam, okay. Doesn't actually do as much as I was expecting it to. And that is definitely, well, it's not actually definitely, but I'd say there's a good chance that is in Bullet Punch range now. So, I suppose we don't know what his last Pokemon is. That's the only sort of little niggle that we've got going on that's sort of, you know, eating away in my head. because if it's Salamence, then both of these I want to keep quite safe, actually. But I don't really want to switch Lipid or Scizor into something. I mean, Scizor can, yeah, take a Dazzling Gleam really nicely. But, yeah, Scizor can take a Dazzling Gleam really nicely. So, let's just do that. It is Kangaskhan, actually. Okay. Not exactly what I expected. And thanks to him protecting a Xerneas and me switching the Thundurus out, the Kyogre's Protect failed that turn. So I can successfully protect with my Kyogre this turn. But he could Geomancy. If he does, and he's not in Bullet Punch range, then oh dear, that wouldn't be very good. The Cresselia is not really a threat in the back, because I've got Lipid, and I've got Thundurus too, so, you know, both of them especially will just win versus it. He could power, like, he could be thinking that he's in a bad enough position that he might Power Punch himself. Maybe. So I'm going to Scald the Kangaskhan and Bullet Punch the Xerneas, just really simple moves. Yeah, if he goes for a Double Edge or something into the Scizor, then good for him. But actually, he just targets the Kyogre, and we survive. So there's the bulk of my Kyogre coming into this. My Kyogre is Timid Max Speed, but actually a lot of it is in defense as well. It's hardly got any special attack, so it's doing some business. Definitely doing some business. Do need to keep Scizor somewhat safe. I don't want him to Helping Hand low kick my Scizor and the Bullet Punch doesn't knock him out. So maybe I'm going to go for another Scald and just protect the Scizor here. Yeah, he was going for a Helping Hand there. That was a Helping Hand Sucker Punch onto the Scizor. Yeah, I did think he would have to target it. And yeah, we called that one right. So he didn't have an interesting team, but we did have quite an interesting game. So I'll take that. And let's look for one more. And what another boring blooming team. So boring team day, yay. So let's like Weavile is an issue. Weavile is actually an issue for this team. Maybe I need to look into that. I've got Brilliant, I've got Scizor, I've got Kyogre. I mean, all three of those do pretty well against it, but I don't know. I'm not so keen on leading with them necessarily. Yeah. This is tricky. Kieran could be nice. Maybe. Maybe not. Not if he leads like Kangaskhan, Xerneas, or anything in Xerneas. I think we'll go Breloom, Thundurus, Scizor, Kyogre. And see what happens with that. If this game goes quickly, then maybe I'll look for another one. We'll see. Just because both of these opponents have had pretty boring teams, so you know, compared to Tuesdays, they've been very boring, to be honest. So and I don't even care if I insult you. They're really boring. So I don't know. Hopefully we'll get a good game. The last game was pretty good, so we'll see what happens in this one. We might be having a bit of a conversation going on here, but I've just ignored them. Don't want you're polluting my video with your typey words. But I don't know. Let's see what happens. Yeah, so I don't know. The team that I've been using on BattleSpot has not really been one of my favourite teams, to be honest. But it's nice to use something like this in between. Like a Lumbreon Brilliant would actually be quite nice for circumstances like this, because Brilliant can take like a return from Kangaskhan here. This Brilliant is quite bulky. I'm going to try and Mach Punch the Smeargle, just in case it's one of these pesky Mental Herb ones. I'll try and Thunder Wave the Kangaskhan. I think he's going to fake out the Thundurus, Um, or he fake outs the Breloom with his Kangaskhan, which is good for him. He gets a Power Up Punch off, okay. So that could indicate a few things. He might be Scarfed, or he might just have fake out and felt free to use it because I didn't lead with my Lipad. He could Sucker Punch my Thunderous, might survive that. Maybe I could double into his Kangaskhan. Maybe I could try and paralyze either his Smeargle or what he switches his Smeargle into. The Kangaskhan might have Protect, because it didn't go for a fake out, it was actually the Smeargle that had fake out. But I don't want to fire a Thunder Wave into potentially his Groudon. So I'm going to double into the Kangaskhan here. Yeah, so he does switch it out. Yeah, that is the Groudon coming in as well. This might knock the Kangaskhan out. If it does, then fantastic. It does. So, fantastic. So Smeargle comes in again. And I think we can assume that it is Scarfed. So a Mach Punch should knock it out. Do I want to Protect? If I Protect, he could maybe Feint? I don't know. To Scarf Smeargle off Feint? I don't know, he could transform into his own Groudon, but that wouldn't really be so much of an issue. Because I've got Kyogre, but then I suppose it'd be faster, he could Precipice Blade me. I don't know. I think it's safe to just protect the Breloom. I mean, it's very obvious, but it's surely the safer play, isn't it? And I don't want to switch Thunderous into anything. I could Swagger the Groudon, but if I do, and it wins a Speed tie against my Kyogre, it will just be able to one-shot me. So we'll just Swagger the Groudon. You can't go wrong with Swagger, can you? Could be special as well. He does transform, and it is special. So, I mean, it could have Precipice Blades, but he's so I called it. I thought he could have done it. He did actually transform, so I should have Mach Punched there. He has got 2+2 Primal Groudons now, and one of them is Scarfed. So, if they are both special without Precipice Blades, then we're still alright, because, you know, an Earth Power is not going to do too much to my Kyogre, so I don't really mind that so much. But if it has got Precipice Blades, then whoops. We could be in a sticky place. So I'm actually going to Spore, like, he is confused, he could hit himself. I'm actually going to Spore the Groudon and Swagger that Smeargle. So he brings in the Xerneas. Smeargle is confused now at +4, does hit itself, so we do get the Spore off. This is an interesting game, isn't it? I could now bring in the Kyogre. But he's got his own Groudon in the back that he can switch back in. So maybe not. Maybe I'm going to Bullet Seed the Smeargle and bring in my Kyogre. I have still got 2 Pokemon in the back, so I should still be able to win the Weather War here. He does Erupt as well, so no Earth Powers going on. The Xerneas can't wake up here either. Because it is a Smeargle, it hasn't got a Groudon's HP stat either. Unfortunately, we only hit twice though, so 3 hits, potentially knocked out. 3 hits definitely in Mach Punch range too. I mean, it will be in Mach Punch range now actually. But he is probably going to bring in his own Groudon. Yeah, he's going to bring his Groudon back in, isn't he? This might come down to if his Xerneas gets a first turn wake or not. Because I can try and Spore the Groudon that's incoming and switch to Thunderous expecting his Groudon to come in so that I can win the Weather War in the future. So if his Xerneas stays asleep here, then that's fantastic. But, of course, it doesn't. But actually, he goes for a Geomancy. So I don't mind that, really, too much. It does mean, though, that he does have a Smeargle in the back. I can Mach Punch it, it is Scarfed, but maybe he could transform into a nasty Geomancy Xerneas. Yeah, like him getting that fake out, breaking my Brilliant Sash was quite nasty actually. I don't know. The Thunder Wave is quite obvious on his Xerneas here too, really, isn't it? But it's maybe the safest thing to do. Yeah, probably a Protect and a Smeargle. Yeah. Does he Protect or does he Fake Out? Or Transform, rather. Well, if he fakes out, I think he will go for a Fake Out this turn. If he goes for a Fake Out into my Breloom, I'll get the Paralysis on his Xerneas, and I'll have lost the Weather War, so that's not good. So I'm going to go for a Mach Punch onto the Smeargle and bring my Scizor in. I think he's going to go for a Fake Out on Breloom here, though. Nope, he goes for the Fake Out on Scizor. I'll take that. Definitely, I'll take that. So I do win the Weather War, but Scizor is maybe not going to be able to take a Moonblast here. Groudon is asleep. Xerneas is maybe going to Protect here. If it doesn't Protect, it's getting paralysed, and that means my Kyogre will be able to outspeed and knock out his Groudon at least the next turn. But, oh, critical hit. That critical hit was nasty. Really, really nasty. Because I can Scald the Groudon now. And I think I have to just Bullet Punch. Yeah, that does just over half, so there is that. If he gets fully paralysed, then I've won the game too. But yeah, thankfully the bulk of Mega Scizor, if we don't get a super low roll here, is going to pull this through, and it does do. Fantastic. Okay, well, you know, and that guy actually had a pretty high rating as well, so it's always satisfying to, you know, claim some ladder points. So, you know, at the beginning of this second game, I was moaning about a little bit, saying that, oh, he doesn't have a very interesting looking team, and I'd look for another game, whatever. But, you know, actually, we've had two pretty long games, and even though they did have very boring teams, I think they were quite interesting games. Some mind games with the Transform, I did think he could potentially have had it, but I didn't want to risk the Fake Out. So, yeah, interesting, actually. Just goes to show that even though there are some very boring teams in this format, you can still maybe have a little bit of fun every once in a while as well. It always helps if you're using a Life Within a Breloom as well, doesn't it? So thanks a lot, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this, and you know, stay tuned for tomorrow's Battle Spot as well. I know I've been moaning again about, you know, not really enjoying using that team on Battle Spot, but you know, stick with it. We got that one more next week. Hopefully, we've got something really fun lined up. So you know, stay with me. Please like and share if you feel this video has deserved such treatment. And again, thank you, and goodbye for now.